Welcome to Today in Prophecy Daily News. In 15 minutes or less, it's news with a perspective from the Bible. Well, what do we have going on today? Arab news and social media call on Palestinians to burn settlers' homes as fires rage in Israel. Plus, a project that aims to scan the irises of every single person on earth in exchange for cryptocurrency has made its debut in the U.S. And the U.S. Army plans massive increase in use of drones. Serbia uses new sonic weapons on protesters. Unbelievable. And USA and Ukraine sign critical minerals and energy deal. Folks, things are moving forward, and they are moving forward rapidly. Well, let's start here. Fires near Jerusalem burn for second day, but roads, towns reopen with foreign aid on the way. And then this is out of the Arab News, All Israel News reports. Arab news and social media call on Palestinians, get this, to burn settlers' homes as fires rage in Israel. People are saying that this is not a planned terror attack. Bill Koenig's organization, his wife Tanya Koenig had actually reported this. She wrote, "Please pray. Israel is under the worst attack of arson terror in years." Israel is burning, not by accident, but by design. What began as scattered brush fires has escalated into one of the most severe coordinated arson terror events in years. Entire regions near Jerusalem, Yad Shomini, Sharesh, Neve Elan, and others have been engulfed in flames. And then it goes on to talk about the major outbreak of the fire. Okay, so we see that. Listen, folks, I have no reason to believe that this is anything but terror attacks. There's been pictures of the arsonists that have been caught. There's also been people that have been arrested that started the fires. I also have a map. I'll see if I can show that for you. But I have a map, and it shows the areas in Israel that have been set on fire. And strangely, within the map, you don't have the areas where the terrorists live. You don't have, for example, Nablus is not on there, which is really modern-day Shechem. And then, Shechem from the Old Testament. Nablus is the Arab name given to it. And then you also have Hebron. Those two areas, hotbeds for terrorists. They're not burning. Why is it only the Jewish areas that have caught on fire? And how did all of these fires start simultaneously? Listen, I live in a fire area. Fires don't just start. It's not because of climate change. The nonsense that's out there says, well, it's just way too hot. It's climate change that started the fires. That is a lie, folks. I live in an area that gets very hot. Never had a fire yet that started just because it's 115 degrees Fahrenheit out here where I live. And you don't have, and it hasn't been that hot in Israel. Nowhere near that hot yet, the temperatures it gets up to in the summer around the wilderness area of the Dead Sea. So the whole thing is just a bunch of nonsense. And how is it that all of these fires started simultaneously in all of these very strategic areas that are Jewish areas? No. Climate change, if it really was climate change, then how does climate change know boundaries? Well, we're only going to go into the Jewish boundaries, not the Palestinian terrorist boundary places. No, the whole thing is just a lie. What we're watching is Israel is being attacked on every side. They're being attacked in the government. They're being attacked by media. They're being attacked on social media. They're being attacked by the propaganda that is coming from the United States of America. They're being attacked from politicians on the left. They're being attacked by talking pundits that are on the right. It's just this constant threat. Why is there so much threat against the nation of Israel and the Jewish people? Folks, it is spiritual. And that is what is really going on here. Again, you look at these things, you look at a map, and you see the areas that are burning. Then you find out all these things started simultaneously. Folks, it's not an accident, and it is not. Neither is it climate change. Moving on from there, project that aims to scan the irises of every single person on Earth in exchange for cryptocurrency has made its debut in the U.S. Sam Altman's eye-scanning crypto project launches in the U.S., says the Wall Street Journal. As of March, World has orb verified 11 million people worldwide. You might say, well, that's not very many. You have, what, 8 billion people on the planet. Everybody's going to be identified. We know from Revelation chapter 13, everybody's going to be required to be identified and receive the mark of the beast and worship him. And those who don't will not be able to buy or sell. And we also know that those who reject going along with the system will be ultimately eliminated. At least that is going to be the attempt. And it's going to be sold to us under this. This is for the good of humanity. This is for everybody's good. So they'll use fires that are started by terrorists intentionally and say it wasn't terrorists. Of course, that's the pro-Palestinian nonsense that's out there, the pro-terrorist nonsense that's out there, but they'll say it's climate change. The fires that were in Los Angeles, well, it's because of climate change. No, the fire started in Los Angeles from strategic points, also all simultaneously starting. The fires in Maui, well, we just don't know anything about that. So it's all climate change is the nonsense that they tell us. So when you look at something like this, Sam Altman says, hey, this project is here in the U.S., everybody has to be identified, ID'd. Folks, it shouldn't come as a surprise because we know the Bible says this. Sam Altman's project, the article goes on and says from Wall Street Journal, that aims to scan the irises of every single person on Earth in exchange for cryptocurrency has made its debut in the U.S., even as concerns around biometric data collection and processing remain. Looking at this, listen, every bit of identification about us, it's already out there. When you go to the dentist, when you go to get your car serviced, when you buy a house, when you rent a house, when you were born, it was entered into the records at the hospital. There's birth certificates, every doctor's appointment, the school you attended, the shots you get, or well, the shots you didn't get. Everything is being recorded, and the CIA has made no bones about it. Decades ago, they said, we tend to collect information on everybody. When asked, what do you plan to do with that information? We will use it. Listen, it might not be the CIA that uses it in the long run, but it will ultimately be this world system that's being built right now, this beast system. Hence, it's necessary for people to worship the creation, climate change, rather than the creator to get everybody into the system. That's Romans chapter 1. It's necessary for the ID to come about, for everybody's information to be entered into a database. And people tell me all the time, listen, I don't have this kind of phone, I don't have that kind of phone. Listen, these records are being kept. Who goes along with it, who doesn't? If you go back to just the time of COVID, over the last 5 years, who went along with the program? What were the pastors that shut down their churches? Who went along with it? Oh, they get all the kudos. They get all the praise from the world leaders. But who is it that resisted? Who didn't? Well, that goes into a book too. We're identified. If you went along with it or if you didn't, you're part of the problem. If you didn't, these are the people that we need to get to, those who resist. And as we watch the ID things come about, if you watched the short video I did the other night from Sunday night with Britt Gillette, as I had an opportunity to interview him just the other night while we were in North Carolina. So he's talking about, listen, we are in this system right now. You put tariffs in there, you look at the world's economy, China's in trouble, Japan's in trouble, Germany's in trouble, way worse financial trouble than the U.S. is. In fact, money is pouring into the U.S. from business leaders throughout the world. But this whole system is going to collapse, and at that, we, as Britt said, are going to have a great reset. We had a type of great reset. That was a conditioning with what happened over the last 5 years. You guys can figure that out. But this great financial reset is coming where we are going to be in this place that it's going to be required to go along with the system. There's going to be digital ID. There's going to be digital currency. It's coming in Europe. It sounds like it's going to be coming in October. You got to be part of the system. As we see everything going this direction, and it's not happening by accident. It's also not by coincidence that all these different things seem to be happening at the same time. Check this out also from the Wall Street Journal. U.S. Army plans massive increase in its use of drones. The U.S. Army is embarking on its largest overhaul since the end of the Cold War, with plans to equip each of its combat divisions with around 1,000 drones and to shed outmoded weapons and other equipment. Folks, this, again, is the type of thing that shouldn't surprise us. Britt Gillette has talked about drones coming many times, and you start looking at drones and drone warfare. It is a matter of time before drones and unmanned aircraft will be fighting the battles. It'll be a war for the skies, but it's going to be with drones. Drone swarms, it's already predicted, it's just a matter of time, we'll be able to take over an entire battleship. You start thinking of a battleship, or you think of an aircraft carrier or something like that, just being swarmed with hundreds of thousands of drones. There's no way that that ship could stop those drones from coming, and they would just go in and attack that battleship. It's going to make modern warfare as we have known it, it's going to make it obsolete. And you start thinking of aircraft, because aircraft that is digitally set is going to be able to hit its target. It's not going to have anything to take it off. And as AI gets better and better, and you start thinking of quantum technology and all these other things, you couple that with drone technology, and we can start to see what aircraft is going to be able to do. And then we also think of Ezekiel chapter 38, when we have this battle with Russia and Iran and Turkey, and they come against Israel, we have two different dynamics. In one of the verses, it says they descend like a cloud, and the other, they come on horse and buckler. It appears that it's a ground invasion, probably from Iran, and also swarming like a cloud. Does that term, swarm, descending like a cloud, not swarming, but descending like a cloud, there in Ezekiel 38, does it refer to something like swarming like a cloud or drone swarms? Because it's coming from the sky, and it's going to appear like a cloud. Think of drone swarms. So we see things like this, starts to make sense. You look at the Bible and you go, again, folks, not a coincidence that all of these things are coming together in the time that we live. Just as Jesus said in Luke chapter 21, verse 28, when you see these things begin to take place, look up and lift up your head because your redemption draws near. Jesus was talking in the plural sense, these things, all the different events, the different signs of the last days that point to his soon return. We recognize, when he says when we see them begin, he doesn't say when we see them fulfilled. They'll have their fulfillment in the tribulation and at the second coming when Jesus comes back at the end. But as we see them begin, look up and lift up your head because your redemption draws near. We are seeing them begin. Let's move on from here to the Express.com. Fears over chilling new sonic weapons used on protesters in Europe. The European Court of Human Rights has told Serbia to prevent the use of sonic weapons or similar devices for crowd control over a huge anti-government rally. How far will this go? Don't know. Listen, what's interesting, that's in Serbia, but you start looking at other places over in Europe, and you have these massive crowds that are growing, pro-Islamic crowds, and then you see people are also rising up. Man, you guys got your hands full over there, over in the UK and in Germany, and people are saying, we're trying to do what's right, and we've had this Muslim invasion. Listen, who are these crowd control measures going to be used against? From everything I read, it won't be used against the Muslims who are praying in the streets and committing acts of violence and raping women or things like that. No, I would imagine these crowd control devices are going to be used against the people that they arrest, the people who pray in front of an abortion clinic, the pastor who reads John chapter 3:16 in the public, people who are protesting against the evil things that the government is doing. Listen, that's all the time we have for right now. God bless you guys. I'm going to be up in Lake Stevens, Washington at the end of May. Check it out, the events page. Also Phoenix, Arizona, first weekend in June. For prophecy conferences there. Check them out. All of the things that we have on our events page. Plus, we'll be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area coming in September, Santa Barbara, California in August. Again, I hope for our times events. Check it out. God bless you guys.